Well, I just recorded the whole lecture and it went zip. It wouldn't save. So we're going to try this again. I'm going to have to cut it down a little bit shorter and see if I can get this to work correctly for you. So first of all, what I'm going to do is just go over the chapters we're going to study. Give you a PowerPoint for those and basically what we're going to study. Then I'm going to have to find some poor unsuspecting victim out here to help me do some demonstrations of things that we need to know how to do, such as your pulses and how to do them, and your reflexes and how to do them, and your um, breast exam I can do without a victim. I have my own little booby right here. I'm not going to show you my boob. This is my boob I'm talking about. So I'm going to show you how to do your breast exam on this one because you'll have to do this in the physical assessment checkoff. So this is going to be your best friend as far as your breast assessment goes. The rest of your breast assessment will be verbalization, as will be your genitalia for male, female, rectum, anus, all those things will be all verbalized. And so we're going to start with doing just the chapters and just a little bit of overview of the chapters and what we need to know, and then I will try to get some videos up to demonstrate. I've looked at YouTube's and I'm not happy with what I've been finding, and I think it would take me 3 days to find something I like, so I'd rather just, like I said, find a poor unsuspecting victim. It'll probably be Miss Smedley. She's always my partner in crime. So okay, I'm gonna click this off of video and we're going to go to the PowerPoints. You will see Miss Boob again. Alright, let's pull up PowerPoint. Alright, this covers chapters 17, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26. That seems a little bit daunting, doesn't it? Well, it's not too bad because some of them are just, like I said, they're just going to be some verbalization, and it's not going to be bad for you. So the first chapter, chapter 17, begins with your breast and the lymphatics of the breast. Now you've got lymphatics from another system that you have to know, and those are the lymph chains in the head and the neck, and Miss Candler goes over that portion of the head and the neck. So you do have to know those lymphatics, but the lymphatics that you have to know for the breast are contained in the breast chapter, and so you will have to know those additional lymph glands and where they're located at in the breast, and hopefully we'll be able to find a poor unsuspecting soul to be able to let us hunt for them. Again, we'll be doing those breast exams on our little breast model. You have to know how to perform one of 3 techniques, and the 3 techniques are the strip, the spoke wheel, and the circular. So we are going to use the strip pattern because your book has eliminated the other 2 patterns from the last edition. So we're just going to use what they recommend. Learning one way and doing it consistently makes you a better practitioner, so that you're able to be able to detect better when you've got your technique down. So if you practice with just one technique and you always use that one technique, you usually do a better situation with that. I am not going to answer that phone because I am recording, and I am definitely just not going to answer the phone. Okay. We want you to be doing teaching to the patient on self-examination. So be sure that you're doing that. And when I give you the demonstration on the model, you will be able to do that. You're not going to perform the examination on your partner at checkoffs. You also don't do that in the history of physical. You can ask them questions, but when it comes to the actual exam of the patient's of your partner's breast, you will write deferred. So be sure that you're looking through the anatomy of the breast in here. Your Tanner scale, Ms. Candler's gone over, so that you know the differences to look for with cultural aging and such. Also, you want to be sure that you are familiar with the methods of, when you look at the pictures, you're familiar with the methods of raising your arms and putting your hands on your hips, because you will say those things, but you need to know what you're talking about. Page 398 demonstrates the strip method, and I will be demonstrating it, and also the nipple pinch. And your lymph glands, they show you those early on in the very first part of the chapter. The axillary lymph glands that you need to know are the lateral, the central, the subscapular, and the pectoral, and also you need to know the epicochlear, which we will demonstrate a little bit later on because it's not found in this chapter, although it's considered part of the lymph glands with the breast. So these are fairly easy to remember. Pectoral is with the pectoral muscle. The subscapular is right below the back of the shoulder blade, the scapula. And central is in the middle of the axilla, and lateral is the length down the arm. So if you'll remember it in that way, you'll be able to remember it. So there are only 4 of them, plus the epicochlear, which will be number 5. So be sure that you're watching for those. Okay. Peripheral vascular system, which is on chapter 20. We should all know how to do these pulses, especially you guys as LPNs have been doing pulses, especially the radial pulses and probably the brachial pulses. So the only ones that you're really going to have to get a hold of are going to be the ones that you don't normally do, which is the ulnar, the popliteal, and the tibial. You should be doing the brachial, the radial, and the dorsalis pedis pulses. Plus, you're going to be doing the femoral pulse. You'll do the carotid pulse in your head and neck situation. So the ones that are going to be counting on your peripheral, the ones you want to really get a handle on, are your tibia and your popliteal. Those are the 2 hardest ones to be able to find. The ulnar pulse is not usually palpatable, but a lot of, at least your book says it's not, but a lot of the times when we're going through this in the classroom, we're actually able to feel the ulnar pulse. The big thing about doing your pulses is that you do one side, you know, if you do the radial pulse on the left side, say I'd also do this on the right. If you do the brachial on the right side, you'd say I'd also do this on the left. So you don't have to do both sides. For the second time, we don't make you do both sides. It's good to do both sides when you suspect a blockage or something that's going to keep you from being able to work with that. So there's good pictures in your book that you can look at to show you how to do, especially the tibia. Really take a good look at that tibia, and I'm going to try to find and show it to you as, if I can get Miss Medley to take her shoe off, on further when I'm able to film these for you guys. My battery is out of my camera, or I would download what we did last year, but the battery died and Miss Jerry got a battery and it didn't work, so I can't get it off of the camera, or I would do that for you. I'm not going to look at we're not going to look at anything abnormal. We're just looking at normal. Remember, if you can't find the pedal pulse, you can always use the Doppler. But the main thing is to be able to do those pulses, and don't forget to grade them. Your partner, being fit for nursing school, should have 2+ graded pulses all the way through. Popliteal, you may not be able to find. If somebody that's heavy, has heavy legs, you may not be able to find the popliteal. You will have to really practice to be able to do that. So be sure to work hard with that. Musculoskeletal system, we're going to be doing the full range of motions. The range of motions should be something you're familiar with. I teach that in the health skills class. So you should be very aware of range of motions. Ms. Candler goes over the range of motions with you guys for the head and neck. So you know that you've got to do that one in another, in the head and neck section of your physical assessment. Our range of motion, it basically includes, we're going to include the upper extremities, the spine, the lower extremities, the wrist, of course, in the upper extremities, and the ankles, which is in the lower extremities. So upper extremities, the back, and the lower extremities is what we're going to be looking at. We're going to be doing range of motion, muscle strengthness, crepitus of the joints, and muscle wasting. So those are things we're going to be looking for when we're doing the musculoskeletal system. And again, I'll post up a video as soon as I can find someone to. Miss Medley's teaching in the classroom, so I don't have a partner in crime. Be sure that you look in your book and you look at how they show to do those. You should do a rotation of 3 with each one of your demonstrations. Like when you do the range of motion of the shoulder and you want to have them put their hand behind their back for to make sure that they're able to I'm sorry, I've got being distracted by something at the door and I don't need to be. So you want to be having them put their hands behind their back, for that's external rotation. That's really not a range of motion. That's just to see if they can actually do that. Range of motion is going to be if, to do abduction and adduction of the arm. Have them raise their arm, lower their arm, raise their arm, and lower their arm. And all this time have your hand on their shoulder so that you can feel for crepitus. Always inspect the arm for muscle wasting. And of course, we're going to check the strength of the arm by having them pull your hand and push against your hand. And of course the grip would be, to have them put your hand in their hand to have them grip your hand. And again, I'm going to try to demonstrate those to you so you'll know what to do when you get to. But remember, you need to do, when you're doing the range of motions, you need to do 3 sets. And that's what I'm going to tell the people that are testing you, so they'll know you have to do 3 sets. Your neurological system is going to be your hardest one to do because reflexes aren't near as easy as they show them in the TVs. You don't always get a good reflex because you don't always know exactly where that point of impact is going to be. So read over that chapter. Be sure that you are, this is something you had in A&P, but it may not be something that you remember a lot of. Miss Candler has already gone over the cranial nerves with you, and she's done the trigeminal nerve with you. But we are going to do the sensory function, and we're going to be doing mainly the motor system muscles is mainly what we are, reflexes that we are going to be involved with. And so we want to be sure that we're going to be doing the rapid alternating movements. We're going to be doing the finger to finger test and heel to shin, finger to nose. Of course, you check the gait when they first walk in the door. We're going to do tandem walking. We're going to do the Romberg test. And we're going to be doing the vibration exam. So you'll need to know how to do that. We'll be doing the light touch exam. And we're going to be doing, of course, biceps reflexes and the triceps reflex. We're going to do the brachial radial reflex. You'll have to know how to do that one. We are going to be doing the quadriceps reflex or the knee jerk reflex, and we're going to be doing the Achilles reflex as well. And then we're going to check for clonus. And again, I'm going to try to show you this. We're going to do the plantar reflex. You have to be able to do the plantar reflex. So those are the reflexes that we're going to be looking at. They don't seem to be that hard, but once you start trying to elicit the actual responses, everybody's anatomy is just a little bit different, so we're going to find it a little bit different. On page 671, you will find a demonstration of the Palmer drift. So we want to be sure that we're doing that. So we are going to be, we'll have our little partners stand, legs together, and then hold their arms out with the palms upward. Have their eyes closed and then hold that for 10 to 20 seconds. The arms should stay steady. If they start drifting down, then that's a bad thing. So that's where that's demonstrated at in your book. And like I said, again, we will try to go over the ones that you're going to have to check off on. Those are the ones I'm really concerned about. Now, male-female genitalia, anus, and rectum systems. You verbalize this at checkoffs. Very simply put, all you have to do is read what's requested of you and memorize that. And then be sure that you remember this system, because you're not doing anything with this system. You have a tendency to forget it. So at the very back, the very last thing on your checkoff list is male and female genitalia. So be sure and read those, memorize those, and don't forget them. Alrighty.